Hello everyone, my name is Zenitsu, and I'm back with another Digimon deck profile video. So today I'm going to be taking a look at EX4, and EX4 offers us lots of new and powerful tools to be able to build and iterate on some new and existing decks. And today's deck I'm going to be taking a look at is going to be a brand new deck introduced in EX4, and that's going to be the Omnimon Alter S deck. So the Omnimon Alter S deck is a DNA-based deck where the whole goal is to DNA into the brand new Omnimon Alter S. And the deck supports that by letting you try to DNA by digivolving two Digimon on the field simultaneously, so that way you can have the two Digimon required to DNA to begin with. And then it even has an extender with the Omnimon Alter B as just another really powerful card that the deck has in its respective toolbox. That's fitting on brand and on theme with everything the deck is trying to do. So Bandai also laid out a couple of staple cards that you would want to get for the deck, and they even have a deck composition that they are recommending to you. But this is just their interpretation on what they think a good deck for this is, and I'll be going over mine. So if you want, you could kind of give it a quick little read and skim through the cards, just to kind of get a base idea on what the deck is trying to do. And they even laid out a nice little strategy that I kind of already explained, where you're just trying to digivolve all the way up into your level 6s and digivolve two Digimon simultaneously to then be able to DNA and utilize the Digimon. But that's just their interpretation of the deck, and this is my interpretation of the deck. So starting off with the Digitama, I'm only going to be running 4 Digitamas, and if you want to run a 5th one, then you can, but I do want to see the consistency off of the brand new Tsunomon that's acting as the deck's card draw engine, so we can make sure that we can see all of the parts and pieces as consistently as we possibly can when we're utilizing our big combo to digivolve 2 Digimon on the field simultaneously. Next, I'm going to be running 4 copies of Agumon. So this is the brand new EX4 version of Agumon, and this is going to be one of the deck's dedicated digging tools, looking for our Greymons, and also looking for our Garurumons, Gabumons, and Omnimons as well. And then the interesting thing about this card is it's putting the cards back on the top of the deck and not the bottom of the deck, so that way we still have access to whatever we just saw, just because we're trying to, again, digivolve 2 Digimon on the field simultaneously, so we'll be able to utilize what we just put on top to be able to add it to the consistency and make sure that we could see the parts and pieces that we need, and we didn't put them on the bottom. Then its inheritable ability is also really good at adding extra tempo to the deck to make it as efficient as it possibly can when we're utilizing our big power play to be able to combo Digivolve, where we get a gain a memory when one of our other Digimon Digivolves. Next, I'm going to be running 4 copies of Gabumon. So this is the EX4 version of Gabumon, and it's doing literally the exact same thing as what we just saw with our Agumon, but in reverse, looking for our Garurumons, and inversely our Agumons, Greymons, and Omnimons with that same inheritable ability, so that way we have that consistency at trying to make our power play as tempo efficient as we can possibly make it. And then the last rookie of the deck is going to be 4 copies of Agumon. So there is an argument, just because we want to run this card, to be running a Koromon, so that way we could utilize the fact that we could digivolve it a little bit cheaper. Otherwise, we're going to be digivolving it for 1 if we're utilizing this card in our raising area. Most of the time, we're not actually planning on utilizing this card in our raising area. We actually just want to utilize its on-play ability to be able to act as, again, another consistency tool, looking for our Greymons and Omnimons, while also looking for our Tamers with Kamiya in its name, so that way we could try to find all of the parts and pieces that we need to see, on top of the fact that its inheritable ability is also pretty decent, allowing our Greymons and Omnimons to have a nice DP boost during all turns. Next, on to the champions, I'm going to be running up 4 copies of Garurumon. So this version of Garurumon is pretty good because it's what's allowing us to be able to start digivolving our other Digimon after we digivolved into this card, just because its when digivolving ability lets us digivolve our other Digimon into a level 6 or lower with Greymon in its name, while also reducing the digivolution cost, so that way we get to make digivolving into our other Digimon cheaper, And it even has a nice inheritable ability of Reboot, so that way our higher stage Digimon have access at trying to potentially be offensive and defensive, utilizing that ability. Next, I'm going to be running 4 copies of Greymon from EX4. That, again, is doing the exact same thing as what we just saw with the Garurumon, except in reverse, allowing our Digimon to digivolve into a Garurumon for cheaper. So that way, again, we could kind of combo chain these types of effects to be able to digivolve our Digimon simultaneously. Then it also has that consistency on having the inheritable ability of Reboot, so that way we could try to get our stack with the desired abilities to be able to make them as effective as we could possibly make them. And then the last champion of the deck is going to be 3 copies of Greymon. So this is the BT12 version of Greymon, and this is a really good card just because it could help set up our tamers, so that way we don't have to spend time and resources to be able to set up our tamers with Kamiya in its name. Then on top of that, it also has a nice inheritable ability that's also trying to do exactly what we just saw with the BT12 Agumon, to be able to DP boost our other Greymons and our Omnimons to make them as powerful as we can possibly make them. Next, on to the ultimates, I'm going to be running 4 copies of MetalGreymon. So MetalGreymon natively has the blocker ability, which pairs really nicely with the reboot ability we know most of the level 4s are going to be giving him, so we could try to have a really good offensively defensive Digimon. Then on top of that, he has that same style of when digivolving ability to be able to digivolve one of our other Digimons for us and reduce the cost of that digivolution. So again, we could chain these type of abilities to digivolve 2 Digimon simultaneously on our field to be able to get them into a higher stage as cheaply and efficiently as we can make them. Then he also is going to give the inheritable of blocker, which pairs nicely with reboot, again, so that way we could have our higher stage Digimon have both blocker and reboot to make them as powerful and annoying for the opponent as we can possibly make them. And then the last ultimate of the deck is going to be 4 copies of the brand new WereGarurumon. That, again, is doing the exact same thing as what we just saw with our MetalGreymon. So we have the consistency on the ability to be able to digivolve our Digimon simultaneously, while also having more access at different ways to utilize the blocker mechanic. And then when it comes to the level 6s, I'm going to be running 4 copies of the brand new BlitzGreymon. So this brand new version of BlitzGreymon does have a special Digivolution condition where it's a little bit cheaper if we're digivolving him off of a MetalGreymon, which is what we're already running, but at worst we still could digivolve him off of our WereGarurumon just because he could digivolve off of any red or black Digimon generically for a little bit more of a cost. But the upside on utilizing this card is it has a lot of built-in synergy with the deck, allowing us to be able to utilize its modular when digivolving ability to pick which effect that we want based on how we're going to be utilizing the card. So the 3 effects that we gain access to is we could choose either between a digivolve ability, so that way we could have some disruption against the opponent's Digimon. We get to digivolve one of our other Digimon into a Garurumon Digimon, so that way we could continue to try to digivolve our other stack if this one's already in its mega level. And then its 3rd ability, which allows us to basically just DNA right away, so that way even if the memory passes onto the opponent's side, we're still able to DNA digivolve and gain access at utilizing our level 7. Then on top of that, he even has a nice inheritable ability for our level 7, and it's a nice when attacking ability that's going to allow us to burn the opponent's security stack for it literally just being an Omnimon. And then the only other level 6 of the deck is going to be 4 copies of the brand new CresGarurumon, which CresGarurumon is doing almost, again, all of the exact same things as we just saw with our BlitzGreymon, except in reverse, and it has the same ability on 2 of its modular when digivolving abilities, with the only change up being its 1st ability, which is try to help control and disrupt the opponent's game plan by adding in a bounce effect instead of a digivolve effect. Then its inheritable ability is also a little bit different, where it's not trying to burn the opponent's security, but it's going to try to add some extra control elements into the deck when we're in our Omnimon by allowing us to bottom deck at level 5 or lower Digimon when our Omnimon is going to be attacking. And then when it comes to the level 7s, I'm going to be running 3 copies of the brand new Omnimon Alter S. So the brand new Omnimon Alter S is an absolutely insane card and is the key focal point on the deck, because the reason why we're lining up these 2 stacks is to DNA Digivolve into Omnimon. So what this card is doing when we DNA Digivolve up into him is we get to delete one of the opponent's mid to low level Digimon, while bounce one of the opponent's level 6 or lower Digimon back to the bottom of the deck, so he's just going to help it control the field the second we go into him. Then on top of that, he even has a nice protection ability, where if he were to leave the battle area for any reason other than your own effects, so this does kind of cover a lot of some of the alternative removals that the game has been playing with, then we get to play out a Blitz and a CresGarurumon from his inheritables for free, so that way we could try to reline up a Omnimon Alter S to continue the aggression and pressure. And then the last Digimon and last level 7 of the deck is going to be 1 copy of Omnimon Alter B. So Omnimon Alter B is just a really powerful card for this deck to use, just because it's designed to go on top of our Omnimon Alter S with a nice big stack, so that way we could gain full benefit off of this card. So his native when Digivolving ability is still pretty decent, by allowing us to de-Digivolve 3 on one of the opponent's Digimon, so that way we have some extra forms of disruption and control, and then we get to choose any number of the opponent's Digimon whose play cost adds up to 6 or less, which is ideally what we just de-Digivolved the Digimon and put it in range of, to be able to delete it for some added control. Then on top of that, the when attacking ability is the big pull on why we want to utilize this card, because by trashing up to 3 level 6 or higher Digimon, which we should, because our Omnimon Alter S would be a level 7 that is underneath this card, on top of the CresGarurumon and BlitzGreymon that should also be underneath this card, to be able to delete one of the opponent's Digimon or Tamers with the lowest play cost for each card trashed. And if 3 cards were trashed, then we also get to trash 2 cards off of the top of the opponent's security stack. So even if you have to use this card a little bit inefficiently, because you can just Digivolve your level 6 into this card, we still could have access at trying to control the opponent's field in various ways, but ideally we want to trash those 3, so we could just delete a lot of the opponent's field and their security all at once, potentially swinging for the game in the right context. And then when it comes to the Tamers, I'm going to be running 3 copies of Matt and Tai. So Matt and Tai is a very important tamer for how this deck wants to function, because it's allowing us to try to set up that secondary body so we could chain our Digivolution effects to be able to Digivolve all the way up into our higher stage Digimon. It's rewarding us for playing our Agumons and our Gabumons by gaining us some extra memory, while also setting that up where if we only have one Digimon on the field, we basically get to play the other one. So if we have a Digimon with Greymon in its name, then we get to play a Gabumon. And then if we have a Garurumon, then we get to play an Agumon. So you do have to pay attention to that, but the fact that the card is setting up our secondary body for free is really, really nice to try to make the deck as efficient as it possibly can be at its overall game plan. And then the only other tamer I'm going to be running in the deck is going to be 2 copies of Nokia, just because Nokia also is another tamer that's allowing us to A, utilize our Digivolutions and try to make them as cheap as we can possibly make them, while B, setting up that secondary body so that way we could try to get that second body on the field to be able to combo our Digivolutions with. And then the only option of the deck that I'm going to be utilizing is going to be 2 copies of Black Memory Boost. So we do need to see a whole lot of different parts and pieces all in our hand, and Black Memory Boost just makes sure that we could try to find them as efficiently as we possibly can, while utilizing its secondary main ability of Delay to be able to make more powerful follow-up plays to try to maintain as much tempo and momentum as we possibly can for when we're doing our big combo power turn. And then when it comes to the deck's overall game plan and gameplay, it really isn't the hardest deck in the world, but it does have some really interesting play lines for us to try to take advantage of. So when it comes to the usage of our BT12 cards, we're just mainly trying to use them to A, dig out our tamer, and B, play our tamer for free, so that way we don't need it to waste time in memory to be able to hard set it up ourselves. So even if we just have this type of a setup, this just allows us to utilize our secondary tamer to be able to play out our Gabumon and kind of start the engine and the train going from here when it comes to digivolving all the way up into our higher stage Digimon and lining up that DNA Digivolution. But when it comes to how we're going to be utilizing our raising area, it really doesn't matter which of the EX4 rookies that we're going to be using, as long as we're ideally utilizing one of them, so that way we could have something hiding in raising for when we move out of raising to try to set up that secondary body and to combo from there, whether it's hard playing a Nokia or utilizing our Matt and Ty's ability to be able to play one out for free. But essentially, the big combo of the deck is going to be, we're going to just have our Digimon sit on our field. We're going to utilize our tamer to set up that secondary body. So we're going to want to digivolve into one of our other Digimon, and then our tamer is going to set up that secondary body. That secondary body is going to search and dig out for our parts and pieces. Then we finally get to trigger the when digivolving ability of our level 4 to be able to digivolve into the opposite level 4. Then that triggers our new level 4's when digivolving ability to digivolve our Digimon into the opposite level 5, and then that's going to allow us to then do the same on our other level all the way up into our level 6, and whatever level 6 that we're going to be ending on, ideally we're going to utilize the ability to let us DNA, so that way we could go right up into our Omnimon Alter S, so we could have a really powerful body on the field while potentially disrupting the opponent's game plan. And then from here, we're just going to start thinking about either aggressing with our Alter S, just because he does have some nice built-in protection to be able to play out our level 6s and get those sitting on our field, or we're just going to try to go into our Omnimon Alter B, so that way we could then utilize his ability to burn the opponent's security and to kind of win the game from there, just because in this type of a situation, when we swing with our Alter B, we'll be able to utilize our BlitzGreymon's ability to trash an opponent's security. Then we get to use his ability to get rid of our high-level Digimon from its inheritable source to trash another 2 security. So that's 3 security that we just burnt off of our attack. So if the opponent has low enough of a security, it could just auto-win us the game. And that's kind of the core strength of the deck, is just lining up our abilities to be able to digivolve 2 Digimon simultaneously. Even if we're unable to fully complete this combo, we could still leave ourselves at a pretty advantageous position based on the different types of effects that we have and the board state the opponent could be presenting us with. And when it comes to understanding the core or foundation of the deck, so that way you know what to start with and start editing from there, I kind of laid out this nice 40 card core utilizing all of the base cards from EX4, because the EX4 cards is how the deck wants to play, utilizing all of the effects to start digivolving your Digimon into other Digimon and vice versa to be able to line up those 2 stacks and to digivolve them all in one turn. And then as far as various other tech and tools that you could think about running inside of the deck, we do just have a lot of other different cards that we could lean into. So when it comes to picking your level 3s, we do have some other level 3 Digimon, both Agumons and Gabumons, that we could think about utilizing just because of the Agumon and Gabumon synergy the deck is already playing with. Then we also have some other Greymons in the level 4 slot we could run, on top of MetalGreymons in the level 5 slot. Then when it comes to some various other level 7s, you could run some generic level 7s like Quartzmon as just a really good card to use, just because we have easy ways to get up into our higher stage Digimon, and we also have the other Omnimons that could take advantage of the fact that we're already going to be utilizing Omnimon Alter S as a good base or foundation. Then we do have some various other options that help facilitate the deck's overall game plan on either setting up our Digimon or digivolving our Digimon as cheaply and efficiently as we possibly can. And we do have some other various tamers that we could think about running to try to help with the overall consistency and efficiency, depending on the tamer that you're going to be choosing to want to run. So that's all I really have for this video. As always, feel free to tell me your thoughts down in the comments below, and down in the description below are a couple of different ways you could support me and the channel. So I do have a TCG Player affiliate link, so when you use that link to buy cards off of TCG Player, then some of that money will go to supporting me and the channel. I also do make and sell playmats over on Overcard Gamers on Facebook, so when you buy a playmat with my design, then some of that money will also go to help supporting me and the channel. And on top of all of that, I do have a Twitch account over on twitch.tv/Zenitsu, so giving me a follow and a subscription also helps support me there, and I do play Digimon on top of various other games on that platform as well. So thank you everyone for watching, and as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you in the next video.